What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Ryan, and we are here for another episode of the Hawk's Dragon Ball Nest. Excited this time because we are going to get into a new adventure. A new adventure in terms of our first deck in the new adventure set. We are going to get the Green Goku or the Nameku deck. So I will go through an overview of the deck in this video. Next video we're going to do the battles with it, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to get into each card in the deck, why I'm including it, then the strengths and weaknesses of it, and the strategy of how to play, and then we'll think about some other cards to switch in and out. So, without further ado, let's get into what we came to do. Alright, and we have our deck list up here on the left side. I shortened a few of the names that Gohan used and the Dr. Brief Spaceship in order to make it fit here and have the text still be large enough. And hey, got a nice new UI for the new season of Fusion World, right? So let's get into this deck list, right? Let's look in the leader first. Let's look at his unawakened side. We have Goku, Planet, Namek, and Saiyan, right? He's pretty basic on the pre-awakened side. When attacking, draw a card. And then awaken, when your life is at 3 or less, draw a card, then flip this card over. So pretty good on that end, right? He does draw upon awakening, but he does awaken at 3 or less. Now this is where he gets crazy. Right, and this card gets 30,000, whoa, crazy. This card gets 10k power on your turn, so he is a 30k attacker on your turn, then he goes back to 20, and then end of your turn, this is where the fun really begins with Goku. Discard 1 card from your hand. If your life is at 2 or less, and you have 7 or less energy, add the top card of your deck to your life. So this card really makes the deck fun, and the entire deck is really built around being at 2 or less, right, on your turn. And then at the end of your turn, you're able to get up to 3 energy. You have to discard a card to do it, but very much worth it, right? So what you're going to see throughout this is a lot of the cards want you to be at 2 or less life on your turn, and then you're going to go back up to 3. So we're going to have a lot of self-awakeners. We're going to have a lot of crazy abilities that really want you to live on the edge, living on a prayer, as the great Bon Jovi said, right? All right, so let's get into some of the cards. Let's start, I want to start actually with our searcher, which is going to be Bulma. Bulma, Earthling from Planet Namek. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with Planet Namek in its special traits and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of the owner's deck, right? So this one is a great searcher. Almost every card in this deck is Planet Namek except for 9 cards, which 4 of which are the super combo. Then we got a few Roshis and Cell Juniors, we'll talk about in a minute. So you're pretty much always going to hit on this card unless you're getting just a weird draw where you get like a Roshi, 2 Cell Juniors or something like that, which is going to be pretty rare. And the biggest benefit to this card is it's helping you find that secret rare Goku. There is no limit to the cost, right? So you're going to be able to get your Gokus if you already have him, helping you get the extras to make him work, whatever it is. So I'm playing this one. I'm not playing any other cantrip at all. I think this one just does me well. I don't really need it too much. So she's great. Okay, then we have one of our few non-Planet Namek cards, which is Master Roshi. So return 1 extra from your energy to your hand, add the top card of your deck to your energy in rest mode. Alright, so this one helps us because we are playing with 12 extras. We're playing with 12 extras in this deck. A lot of times I would find myself like struggling to decide on what to charge. If usually I would go, okay, if I have 2 copies of this extra, I'll charge it, but sometimes it still comes back because I would need it. So this one really helps you out. You can grab that extra back later on. You can charge those extras without having to worry as much. Obviously, we're going to have to hope to pull a Roshi, and we're going to have to pay 1 cost to get it back. But it does give us the option to do so. He has a nice 500 or 5k combo as well to use in a pinch. So I'm going with only 2 right now. To be honest, I would really like to up that to 3, but I've really got to think about like what do I want to swap out. So let me know in the comments once we look at this full list, like what should I take out to get 1 more Roshi, or you know what, maybe I'm just good with 2. All right, moving on. Our last 1 cost card is going to be Muri. Now Muri's great card. I think the consensus on it is I wasn't sure if people would like him. I wasn't really sure actually if I wanted Muri in this deck, but he is a key card here. For 1 cost, he's a 10k combo, and he's a blocker. And the good thing about it is he's a 10k power blocker as well. So he is at least going to survive like 1 Whis minus 5k, leader ability minus 5k from red. And so really helps you out with that, because red is really like sometimes it just kills 1 cost cards. And then he's a blocker. But his biggest thing is add 1 card from your life to hand. So really we can play it for 1 cost, add a life, and then go from there. In fact, this really helps you out late game sometimes when you want to play some big dog attackers, but maybe you don't, you're at 3 life and you need to get to 2. Keep in mind that it is a forced life, right? You cannot choose not to do it. And I say that because I once messed up and did it, where I lost my life and actually like got down too low. So remember that. And then he's also a 10k combo, right? So we can't go wrong. All right, here's our only other non-super combo, non-Namekian in the deck, which is Cell Jr. And this one, shout out to Ramon and Connor at Cardboardia last night at the locals, helping me kind of build this deck, and really gave me the idea of Cell Jr., which I'd already kind of thought about, but didn't want to take the plunge to insert in there. We're not going to look at his permanent ability, but his on play, add up to 1 extra from your drop to your hand. I'm playing 12 extras, so why would I not want to get that extra back? And the extras in here are so ridiculously strong. They really make the deck that we want those back, and a lot of times we might want to grab the one we just used the turn prior back. And it doesn't have a cost limit on it. So Cell Jr., great for that. A lot of times he's not going to be attacking with his 15k because we're playing him later in the game. But we can drop him on the board and combo him away. Or if we don't really need to play him, he's still a 10k combo. So pretty good. Alright, moving on back to our Planet Namek cards for the remainder of the ride. Right? Then we have Krillin. Krillin is just a great card. If I get him turn 2, I am always playing him, and I am pretty happy if I can do something like Bulma turn 1, Krillin turn 2. Krillin's great. He's a 20k body for 2 cost. He's a Self-Awakener, add 1 card from life to hand, and I really like this move, the when KO'd. I'm usually not a huge fan of when KO'd moves, but in this case I am, because it's not one that like breaks the card. It's just like a really nice bonus. Make or breaks the card. A lot of times it's like if I don't get KO, then the card sucks. But this Krillin at 20k, 5k combo is still good. 1 KO'd, you get to add 1 card from your hand to your energy in rest mode. So it really helps you ramp up. That's why I like this early on, right? Earlier, they're a lot of times less likely to KO. And if they do, you know what? If they find another way to remove him, then that's fine. Otherwise, if they're going to have to deal with him turn after turn, unless we're in a blue deck and they bottom deck him, and red is going to have to spend multiple resources in order to get him down to 0. It's usually going to take until they're pulling that Gohan 3 cost out there to be able to remove him. So pretty good with Krillin. I have 4 of him in there as well. Most of these cards I have 4, but reduced a few to 3. Now let's go through Muri. Now Muri is one that a lot of people, I feel like in the Goku Nameku decks you see a little bit less of, but I think that he's a very key to this deck, so I've got 4 of them. And he's 10k for 2 cost. He is a 10k combo, so it helps you with that. And then end of turn, this is interesting when we look at him, like it's very confusing. End of turn, place 1 card from your life into your drop. Like what? I don't want to do that. That's terrible. But there is some good to it. Now check out his activate main. Switch this card in a battle area to rest mode. During this turn, the next time you use an extra with a cost of 5 and Namekian in its traits, you don't have to pay the cost. Like, oh my, okay, well what's that card? And I think the reason a lot of people don't like that is because he only works with 1 card, which is unlockability. However, the unlockability is so ridiculous that you need to play it. Okay, activate main. Choose up to 1 battle card in your battle area, and it gets 15k power for the turn. Then, if your life is at 1, add the top 2 cards from your deck to your life. Like, what? What? So we can go from 1 life up to 3. So it really helps you when you're thinking about things on your previous turn. It's okay if you know you're gonna be playing the Guru and unlock ability, then you can get down to 1 life. That's perfectly fine and not be scared. We're gonna get back to 3. Now it does have some balancing to it, because this means that you're gonna get up to 3 at that point and cannot use any other cards that require you to be at 2 life, right? Which can be frustrating at times, and you're probably not going to want to get back down to 2 because of the Guru, where you do have to pay a life at the end of the turn. Now you're definitely going to want to use make sure that you use the abilities right too at the end of your turn. You're at 3 life. Make sure that you use Guru's ability first to get down to 2, and then with your Goku you're able to go ahead and add a life to get back to 3. So it gives you that net positive up to 3 life. Make sure that you do not get back down to 2, because then you're going to be, you have to use his first, and you're basically going to end your turn on 2 life, which is no bueno for double strikers. Okay? But then let's come back to this for a minute. This is 15k power for the turn. And there's another Goku. We'll go over the secret rare in a bit, but there's another Goku that this works really well with, which is this guy. This one is a promo from the release event. I'm sure they're pretty easy to get online. I mean, buy online if you want the physical copy. Online, then you're able to just get these from leveling up, right? So when attacking once per turn, if your life is at 3 or more, add 1 card from your life to your hand. Right, so think about that. And remember this too, if you did, you probably want to get his first attack off, or if you're crazy enough and want to go for game, because if you got to 3, you're going to get back down to 2, so keep that in mind, okay? But he can attack twice, so he can now turn into a 40k body for 2 attacks. You will get down to 2 and then get down to 1. So honestly, a lot of times I may attack first and then use the second one, but I don't know. If you're going for game, it gives you some flexibility, because remember, once per turn, if your leader Son Goku switches card to active mode. So this only works with Goku in here, but you know, pretty good if I do say so myself. All right, moving backwards a little bit. Actually, let's look at the altar. This one's nice. So here is Son Gohan Youth. You get to choose 1 on play. If your life is at 2 or less, choose 1 battle card and KO it. Crazy, right? Doesn't matter the cost. You're just going to KO it, and then now you have a 20k body on the field. I did reduce him from 4 to 3 in order to fit my Cell Jr. in there. He does have 0k combo, and a lot of times he's not one that I'm playing a lot, you know. So I only have 3 of them in there, but really good. And then, so let's say you're not at 2 or less, then you just add 1 card from your life to your hand. It's not an optional one. Then choose up to 1 battle card with the cost of 3 or less and KO it. So even if you're not at 2, so probably earlier game, you want to get rid of a 3 cost, just play him Self-Awaken and go from there. So he is a really good card. I just think 3 is plenty for him. Okay, next up we have Dende. Little Dende over there. Is that when he's healing Vegeta? I think so. So this one's a 3 cost, 10k combo, only 5k. So, but the activate main is really good, right? Switch this card in a battle area to rest mode if your life is at 1. Add the top card of your deck to your life. Now, he is 3 cost, so I've yet to actually play him in a battle and use him, but I think that he should stay, because in a pinch you can use him. You know, there are a lot of times where maybe your opponent's attacking your life and they're leaving your board, and hey, I don't need to play any battle cards this turn. I want to get my life back to 3, so you're going to use Dende, switch to rest mode, you go back up, and now your opponent's going to have to deal with him, because if they decide to continue to go for your life and he's still there and you get down to 1, well, guess what? I'm going to probably end my turn on 3 because I'm going to rest him again. So they're going to deal with him. You're not going to want to defend him, and hey, totally fine. They wasted an attack. So I do like Dende. I did reduce him down to 3 in order to fit some of those non-Namekian cards, right? Super combo. Don't need to say much about the super combo. You can choose what you want. I went with Chi-Chi. All right, and then, of course, let's talk about the secret rare Goku. Ridiculous card. He is a double striker. and permanent if your life is at 2 or less, and you don't have another Son Goku with a cost of 7 in your battle area, reduce the cost of this card by 4. So essentially you are playing this bad boy, at least the first one, for 3 cost as long as you're at 2. So this is why you do want to get down to 2 quickly. You do want to get this guy in hand quickly, and then you want to play him. But that's not all. We have some other cards that you want to play with him. Now, this is a deadly combination. Destructo Disc. For 1, activate battle your turn. Your cards that are in battle get 20,000 power, and if your life is at 2 or less, they gain crit for the battle, critical. We just need to take a minute to think about that. Using this card on our Goku Double Striker means that we have a 65k hitter that is doing crit to life. So that means your Goku, you want him to attack life, and now your opponent's living on the edge. They're either going to have to drop a ton of cards to defend that, two super combos and something else in order to defend. So we're talking about at minimum 3 cards from hand, and if they don't have super combos, this could be 5, 6 cards. Or they're just going to take that and just lose 2 life. They're not going to want to do that once they're already awakened. They're going to do their best to defend. So this card is just crazy good. So this one, you may do something like play your Goku, play this one, go for life. Guess what? Maybe I don't have one in hand. Cell Jr. time, and you're going to get it back. So whereas probably this Goku along with the unlockability, maybe going for a board, this one and Destructo Disc is going for life. You want life. Okay, now let's go through this one. We've got 2 left to go over. The Dr. Brief Spaceship. This one is one that it's kind of, I think, a little bit underrated, right? It's 1 cost. If your leader is Goku and your life is at 2 or less, draw 2 cards. So you're paying 1 cost in order to draw 2, which is really key when we are thinking about that Goku does not draw upon attack. So your hand size gets lower. So I'm seeing this one, and sometimes I'll get this one back with Cell Jr. So I'll play it 2 in a row, and now I've just flipped the game. My opponent has dumped their entire hand to defend against my Goku. They're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll reduce their hand faster than me. You just flipped the script right there by drawing 2 cards for 1. It's really good. So I really like this card in this deck. And the last one to go through is our Full Power. Another great board dealing with card. If your life is at 2 or less, choose up to 2 battle cards with a cost of 4 or less and KO them. So that's so good. So a lot of times you may decide, am I going to go with this Full Power to get rid of 2 4 or less, or am I going to go with the actual Gohan battle card, not to be confused with this one, so that I can go ahead and just take out a 5 or more. So the great thing about this deck is this combined with the Gohans, the other Gohan, gives us some ways of dealing with our opponent's board, keeping them small, while on our ends going ahead and attacking. Now let's go through the strategy, strengths, and weaknesses of the deck. The main strategy, as I've pretty much been emphasizing throughout, is to get down to 2 life on your opponent's turn, so that you can be using pretty much all of your unique abilities of the 2 life on your turn, right? Mainly, we want to play our secret rare Goku as quickly as possible. At the very least, you know, even if you don't attack life with your crit with him, a 45k is going to force them to eliminate a lot of cards in their hand. You know, a lot of times it is rather balanced because you do have to be at 2 life, so it's not like you're going to be playing him on turn 3 unless you somehow like just get annihilated. So that's good. But once you're dropping him, then it's going to be a lot for your opponents. They're going to really focus on eliminating this card. So we'll go from there. Right, and then we're going to supplement with extras, right? We really want to get those extras out to get those abilities, whether it's getting crit, whether it's unlockability, just using abilities to clear their board with the Full Power, all those good things, right? Get your extras back with Cell Jr. or with Roshi, pulling them back from your charge. So don't be too scared about charging. Still keep in mind that obviously you don't want to rely on drawing your Roshi and spending 1 cost to get them back. But hey, it's a great option there. And then later in the game, we're going to use Guru and Dende to recover life. Our opponent just dumped a lot of what they had, thinking that maybe they're going to go for a game the turn after, and then your go from 1 to 3 life in a turn is pretty crazy, right? The strengths of this deck is there are so many ways to recover life. You know, Goku's ability, obviously getting you from 2 to 3 is one way. Then using Guru, using Dende. So we've got 3 different ways and plenty of cards in the deck to do that, right? It's really tough for the opponent to know when to go all in because of that, right? And really kind of planning ahead 2 turns. Right, obviously if they see that you don't have anything in hand and you're at 3 life, then okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go all in now. But it makes things a little bit tougher when they think, okay, do I get him to 2, do I get him to 1, do I leave him at 3? Like, it's a little bit crazy in there, especially with all of your self-awakeners. So they may think, oh, I'm just not gonna attack this life this turn, leave him at 3 so they can't use their abilities. Guess what, buddy, self-awakener, now I'm down to 2, right? There is lots of board removal in a way. I mean, not a gigantic amount, but we've got 3 of those Gohan extras that we can't get back from drop. And then we have our Gohan 3 cost. As long as we're at 2, we can just KO anything, right? There are some really big weaknesses of this deck. You're living on the edge, right? The entire game to being between 2 and 3 life. And a lot of times letting your opponent get you down to 2 can be a struggle. Make sure that you're paying attention to their charge. You know, you don't want to get down to 2 until they're under 5 left to use, because then they can just go all in with the double striker, right? So you want to make sure that their energy is less than 5 before you allow yourself to get down to 2. Once that happens and you can see their board and you know that you can defend against these little baby attackers, then it's okay to get down to 2. But if you're not sure and they really make you wait that whole time, just stay at 3, continue to defend, and then hope that you've got a self-awakener in hand to get down to 2 next turn, right? One misplay can be the game. That's a big thing. And really, like, early on, like, sometimes if you don't play things right, you're dead by turn 5, which sucks. I think now, especially where the game is at, there's a lot of kind of slow play, a lot of defensive and control. And, you know, it doesn't feel great when you know that you can survive longer and you misplay, and it just destroys everything because we're living so low. A lot of mid-tier attackers. We've got Goku at 45k. Obviously, our leader Goku is at 30k every turn. But then from there, 25k Goku attacker. So we're not doing a lot. But that doesn't matter. You know, if you can keep their board at least, you know, mildly dead, then, you know, you can be okay, right? And then there's no draw after awaken, which is always a struggle with those leaders that are awakening at 3. So it means that you're not going to want to draw up the battle too long anyway. You're going to want to get these KOs as quickly as possible and win the game. Now, some other cards to consider. My first iteration of the deck, I did think about having Dr. Brief in there. The reason being is I have 12 extras. Right, so 12 extras, making sure that I get the extra I need. It is basically a draw card. Decent chance of hitting on it, not great, but I think that he doesn't quite fit in the deck. You can pretty much naturally draw the extras. We've got enough in there to where hopefully we'll find what we need, so I went with no. Now next up is Nappa, another one I considered, because we do have so many mid-tier attackers in there. Nappa helps us do a few things. Obviously, the self-awaken aspect being a 3 cost in there is really good. He's one, number one, I don't know if he fits. He is another 0 combo on there, and we've got enough 0 combos as it is. So I don't think he's quite worth the ramp and the awaken in there, so I'm not going to include him. But he is one that would be interesting if you can find a way to fit him in, because he is a powerful 3 cost, right? Then I've got the Gohan Future. This one would be really nice as well to find a spot, because he at least does have the 10k combo. He does protect some of your cards, so like he's not going to protect your Goku 7 cost, but he will protect that 3 cost Goku from being KO'd and things like that. So that's really good, and then allows you to play at the end of the turn. He's one that, another one, I would really like to fit this guy in the deck, but I just can't figure it out. I mean, on one end, maybe swap out Dende for him, but I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I may do some experimentation. But this is probably my biggest one that I would like to find this place for. This one's an interesting one too. If you want to get another big body on the board, he is a 6 cost for 35k. So the 6 cost is a big ask, especially when we're wanting to play extras on that. But he does add the top card of your deck to your life. So maybe instead of a Dende, you may want to go and play him instead. He has less combo power, but he is going to hit for 35. So maybe. Now I do have the Grade 8 Vegeta, and this one really, I'm kind of more including for those that really want to play the Nameku, but maybe don't have 3 of the Gokus. I think he can be a substitute. He's obviously nowhere near as good as the secret rare, but he is a double strike, he is a 40k, and he's also a board removal, right? Your leader, it does have Saiyan in his special trait, so you can use that ability to KO 5 or less. However, it's less useful here than it is in Vegeta, that you have to place an energy into your drop, so there is that cost. But Goku does play fine with 5 charge. I a lot of times, because my hand is getting a little bit smaller, I stop charging sometimes and have to think about that when I get to 5. I'd like to stay at 6 though, but I mean it's a solid one. If in my opinion, maybe if you have 2 of the Goku, at least 2 of the secret rares in 1, you could be okay. Not great. Okay, and then maybe here's another secret rare that would be nice, but I don't know how often you're going to get to 7 charge, to be quite honest. But if you do, then you're going to discard a card and eliminate their board. Well, 5 or less, so solid on that. Or he's just a 50k body on the board. So this one's one to think about. Not sure if I would go with it, but you know, maybe. All right, and then we've got training at 100 Gs. This one's one that's cool because we do draw a card and add a card from your life to your hand. Then if we're at 2 or less, play up to 1 Son Goku with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So this one really only works now with our the promo Goku, but it does basically, you know, he's a 3 cost, so it can help you awaken, get down to 2, and you draw a card. So it gives you a free draw, basically, and then gets you down to 2 if you need that. Obviously, the Goku is going to be able to do that for you, too. So, in essence, it's a draw, but I don't know. I didn't have it in there. I took it out as well. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoy this deck. I really love this deck, to be honest. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I really want to make it work, so there could be some additional tweaks to it. It's still kind of in its early iteration, so there could be kind of like my Grade 8 Vegeta later on in the set, a revision to the deck. Let me know in the comments what you think. What are some other cards that I could swap in and swap out in that? Now, I want to say here, I am 2 subs away from 50. 2 subs away from 50, so please hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw, so that we can move forward. 50 would get me 10% towards monetization, so that I can do this full time eventually. I would love to just only make videos for you all and increase the quality even further than where I am at. I enjoy this so much. It's so hard to get me away from making this content in any of my free time, because I enjoy it. So I hope you enjoy it too. I hope you'll subscribe so that we can continue to grow. And I want to give a special shout out too to Einlanzer. Einlanzer, thank you for all the support that you give. I love it. You comment on almost every video, giving me great feedback for all of that. So thank you, very much appreciated. We actually passed up our Pokemon, or my Pokemon channel, in terms of subs. That one is 3 away from 50 though, so we passed it up by 1. So please, if you're also into Pokemon, go check out the Hawks Pokemon Nest channel. The link to that is in the description as well. Now, if you're not quite ready to fly yet though, that's okay. Just at least hit that like button, leave me a comment. Hopefully we'll show up in an algorithm near you in the near future. But hey, till then, we'll see you all next time.